Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dice Tower. My name is Zee Garcia.
And I'm Camilla.
Today we're taking a look at 5 peaks over here, in which we are going to be laying out tiles, climbing the mountain, discovering various things, and also taking some time out to collect blueberries and mushrooms and grain.
Herbs. It's herbs.
Yeah, herbs. So in this game, that is what you're doing. You're managing your hand of cards while you're doing this. Let's go ahead and take a look at the game, show you on the board how it works out. And then we're going to come on back. We'll tell you what we think of it. In the game, the players are going to be moving around. They're going to be exploring these tiles out here. They're going to be managing their hand of cards, gathering resources and trading them in, trying to get the most victory points possible. You're going to be scoring off of a few different things. So you're going to be scoring off of your hiking badges, which are these right here, 3, 6, or 12 points as you put out these cairns on the map. You're going to be scoring off of your panorama cards, which are these cards right here. They go up. You have level 1s, followed by level 2s, and so on all the way down to level 6s. They have a cost at the bottom, what you need to pay in a specific location on the map that's going to develop. You're going to get some victory points, and you're going to get some endorphins, which are these little happy faces. You use them to buy more cards. You're going to be scoring off of the campfire cards. Some of these campfire cards are going to give you victory points. Whenever you gain access to campfire cards, you draw 5 and keep 1. And some of them are in-game abilities, some are scoring opportunities. You've got over here then the cairns themselves. You're going to be putting stones on these cairns. So if something out there looks like that, you can put these on it. And you're going to score this number of victory points times the multiplier. The trick with these is if a player goes there, anyone who goes after has to put a stone on top that is smaller than. So they could do this, and they could put this times 2 on top of that, but not, say, the big times 3. And your times 2s and your times 3s, you'll notice, are actually different sizes. So they need to get smaller as you go up. And that's how you score, all right? So how do you play? Well, on your turn, you're going to have a hand of cards, and you play a card. You do whatever a card does, and then it's the next player's turn. So let me explain what these do. You have a couple over here that you begin with a starting deck, in blue in this example, that move you. So you move once or you move twice. If there's somebody in your way, you do not count that space. So let's say yellow already went, and it's my turn, and I move once. I'm going to go from here, following the dotted lines. I skip counting yellow, and I go nothing, 1. Where I land, I'm going to gain that thing, in this case a mushroom, and I take the token, put it in my backpack. I have limited amount of quantity there. So those are movement. I am going to have the ability to buy a new card from up there if I pay the requisite number of those endorphins, or I can just, I can buy a card, or I can discard a card, like destroy a card, and gain 2 endorphins. It cannot be one of these starting blue cards, though. I can play this, and that's going to let me explore some new land that I could put next to the tile I'm on, or I can sell goodies for endorphins. The way this works is, once I play this out, I'm going to put it next to a corner on the tile I'm on, like so, and I'm going to immediately gain the things that I have connected in that corner. In this case, I get 1 mushroom, and I get 1 grain, or whatever that is. So I'm gaining these things. I put that there like so. And now players have new places where they can go. All right, so they'll be able to, red can now move twice and go nothing, nothing, 1, 2, well, not that way, 2, and do that ability, okay? So that's that one. And then lastly, of your opening cards, you have this one over here. This one lets you complete one of these panorama cards. If you have the prerequisite things, you can play the card, gain it. Or you, instead of doing one of these, you gain 2 endorphins, and then you draw your whole hand back up. As you use cards in this game, they stay out, they stay out. I put that out, and then I do this. I gain, let's say, 2 endorphins. So I take the tokens for that, and then I regain my hand. That's step 2. So now I have my entire hand again. And this is going to develop with the players putting out new things, moving around, doing various things. You'll notice some locations, like this location here, say pay a mushroom and 2 grain, and then you get to put out a cairn, okay? So if a player goes there, let's say it's me, I go there, I'm going to, every time you go somewhere, you activate that location on the map. So let's say I moved to get there, I get there, I have the things, which I don't really, but let's say I do, like so. Then I'm going to cash that in, 2 grain, 1 mushroom, and then I get this badge for being the one that deployed it. I'm going to get 3 victory points, and then I grab the top one here and I put it next to this tile. So I can go there, there, there. You'll see some paths on here, and you need to connect at least some of that. So I could put that like so, right there. I'm going to gain a bonus for building that, in this case, one of these cards, but it's free in this case. And then that's a new place where people can go if they make their way there, and they can put their stones. And again, the stones have to get smaller. So there you go. That's how that's going to work out. You have also, as these panorama cards get harder and harder, you'll see level 2s get a little bit harder, but they give you more victory points. Level 3s, you start to get resources here that are advanced resources, okay? So the way that works is, like this one over here is going to take 1 blueberry, which looks like that, and 1 grain, which you've already seen, but then it also takes this sort of blueberry jar. You can make that right here. 3 blueberries, turn them in for a blueberry jar, like so. So I can spend all 3 of those things if I play the corresponding card, and then I gain this panorama there. You always gain 1 of each level. So once you have a level 1, you need to then go for a level 2, a level 3, and so on. And once the game end is triggered, then you score up all the things I mentioned, and you see who the winner is. You have here some tiles that you go through, and as you level up these, then you also level up the cairns you put out and the victory points you make from that. The cards out here, you can pay the tokens and gain those cards into your hand, and they'll give you new abilities, new movement options, a new way to manipulate and move around. Like, for example, there is one that lets you move adjacent to anywhere you are, whether there is a path there or not. This one lets you move 4 spaces, and this one lets you go to a bicycle location anywhere you are. So if this happens to be out here, and the blue player plays this card, I can go right from where I am all the way to this bicycle location and gain that grain listed there. So there you go. That's what's going on in the game. Let's go ahead and go back up top. So this is a game where the theme, I have to imagine, very much appeals to you especially.
Absolutely. I was drawn in from the theme, being outdoors, hiking, just appreciating and enjoying the land. And then the cover of it, I feel, is just striking and gorgeous, just really pulls me in. So for sure, the theme pulled me into the game, but I was quickly taken out of the theme.
Oh, really?
I did not. I just didn't find the theme to really be in the game. I definitely got caught more in the puzzle of moving around the different places to try to get the resources I need to get a scoring card.
Right.
And by that, those are that mechanism was on my mind the whole time, not the theme of what I was doing. And there was never a turn of like, oh yay, I put up a cairn. You know, that's like I didn't. It's like, nope, I got some scoring. Boom, I've secured my endgame scoring, is the thought that came into head.
And I agree with that. It has that look of, as soon as you put out a couple of tiles out there, you're now basically just looking at a grid with connecting lines. Mm-hmm. That theme of going on a hike, of building your panorama and seeing beautiful things very quickly fades into the background. And I agree with you there. Where it becomes mechanical, very quickly mechanical. That's not to say, in my opinion, that that's purely bad. I think some of the mechanisms in here are interesting. Mm-hmm. I really like the hand management in this game. In this game, you have a hand of cards you begin with. We all have the same ones. And you burn through them, and there's one specific card when you play it that you do what it says, and then you pick up your whole hand back. We've seen that in a few other games, but I like that mechanism.
I really like it as well because that picking your hand up is also tied to securing the panorama cards and grabbing that scoring card.
Right.
I think that is really well done to where picking your hand up doesn't just feel like a pass.
Yes.
Because when we see this mechanism a lot, it's tied to picking up your hand, so it's a rest action, and that's it. So therefore, you want a deck build to put off resting as long as possible.
Right.
There was multiple times in this game that I did. I ran my deck out, and that was the last card I played to reset. There was other ones where I needed to pick my hand up to get that perfect card to get the resources I need to secure, and then very next card I was playing, the second or third card, was the ones to pull that back up. Now you could say it's because I wasn't very good at the game and didn't plan it out, but I think that it is such a lean deck that it leans more to that, where you might play it after 2 cards because you want to get that and you see they're going for the same scoring and you want to grab it quickly. So it makes picking up your hand not feel like a pass or the weakest option.
I agree with that. And the turns in this game are quick. There's also that where you are like, you play a card, move, grab a thing, done, go. You know, I mean, the longest turns in this is going to be maybe look at 5 of the fireplace cards or whatever and keep one, or flush the 5 cards and then flop 5 new ones and get one. You have to look at the 5 new ones. There's not that much variety when it comes to the cards. You kind of see the same ones over and over. So the turns are quick, and that's something to be said for that. On the flip side of that, I'm going to jump into a negative here that kind of dovetails into the quick turns. Yes, the turns are quick, but you're going to be taking a lot of them. I think this game outstays its welcome.
I have down it is overly long. It is 2-player only, and even at a 2-player game, it is very repetitive by the halfway point.
Right.
When you reach the halfway point and you realize it's only halfway, it is a drop pit kind of moment, like, oh.
And it even says it here. It says it's 2 to 5, okay? And it says 25 minutes per player. That suggests 50 minutes for 2 people. I think it's a little longer than that.
I think so.
If you play with more than 2, I mean, this is not a 2-hour game. In no world should you be doing the things you're doing in this game for 2 hours.
Right.
And they're saying themselves that with 4 people, definitely with 5, but even with 4, you're getting close to 2-hour gameplay. And with the simplicity of the turns, how straightforward everything is in the game, and the general sort of abstractness of everything, 2 hours just feels too long.
Absolutely. This, at any player count, does not have the decision space worth more than a 45-minute game to me. You know, my interest is gone.
And I agree with that,
about 45 minutes. And that doesn't matter 2 or 5.
Yes,
you know, that is the comfort zone for this kind of game, and it vastly outstays that's welcome. And part of that, I think, for me as well, is because of that decision space. This is a game that the resources that you have to gather and the combinations you have get more difficult as the game goes.
That's right.
All right. Now, arguably, your hand is getting better. You've grabbed a couple cards to put in your hand to give you some better actions and flexibility. But there is a disconnect, or I don't like the ratio, I guess I should say, of how much more difficult the tasks get to how much more powerful you're getting.
Well, you don't really get any more powerful. That's the problem.
You just get more flexibility, I think, is what it is.
Yeah, but at no point do you have a card that says, like, oh, you're going to get 3 blueberries when you get 1. I mean, yes, some of the fireplace cards do that kind of stuff, but you don't really ramp up like you're saying. And just getting the 5th panorama card is that much more work than the first.
It's that much more work, and it takes just as long or longer because it is that much more work, because you have to get more resources and do more conversions.
Yeah.
And again, you have a couple extra cards in your hand that are going to help you. But by the end of the game, I feel like that second half, if there's 5 panoramas, the last 2 should be half the size of the first one, because you're feeling good about it and you're liking what you've built up to. And it's not. Every time you get one of those, you're back at 0.
Yes.
You trade
and there's
in.
6 panoramas. So
that's right. It's not 5. Right.
Oh.
And if somebody got the panorama the turn before you, you're also back at square 0 most of the time, because there's not a whole lot of synergies in those cards. And you're like, ugh. So it's just one of those games of you never quite ramp up at the same ratio that the game is increasing in difficulty or requirements. Right. And that leads to some, all right. 2 more rounds, or 2, not rounds even, I guess, 2 more panoramas or whatever. But that being said, the other flip side of that, I do want to give credit to the game. I like the different ways to score in this. I really like the addition of the cairn spots as well.
Yeah.
And so I think that's really the 2 main ways to win the game, or the 2 scoring things that you have to either balance or heavily put into.
Right.
Are you going to build that panorama, or are you really going to go out and get the cairn spots and put them out and maximize those opportunities? Maybe try blocking the opponent a little bit. I like that they have that it's not just one of those. It brings a good balance having the 2.
Right.
And I
the
think
stacking the stones thing is a cute idea.
It's cute.
The fact that if you put your ×3 out there, the next player or any other player who wants to stack on them, their stones have to be smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Visually, it's very pleasing, but also it's a mechanical thing explained by itself. It explains itself visually. You're like, you have to stack a smaller stone.
Yeah.
I don't have to explain the what that implies. It's obvious.
Right.
I like that. I like that idea. It works out pretty well. So I enjoy that, but again, it's sort of just, it's a slow process to find the place to let you build the cairn spot and then to make it to the cairn and build it up.
Right.
I do like the geometry of the whole thing. I like the way the tiles go and the cairn goes in between. It looks pleasing. It's just a process to get there. I will mention one more negative here, and that is the iconography. I think in this game is not very good. I think the iconography could have been a lot stronger. Something as simple as like a card that moves 1 is 1 square with an arrow to the next one. That means move 1. Got it. Move 4, because it doesn't fit on the card as a line. They have 1 square like this, down, over, up, and an arrow from here to here. And it's like,
right.
What's that mean?
Right.
I said move 4. But why do it like that?
Right.
Just literally 4 and a footprint or something will do the trick. It just seems like a weird sort of needlessly complicated iconography. There's also a symbol that means buy a card and a symbol that means get a card from the flop for free. That's the same symbol.
Same symbol, yeah.
That's not okay.
So you're having to infer from that. And then what you call the wheat resources, and you call it that because it looks like wheat.
Yeah, it looks like grain. It looks like you're harvesting grain.
Right. But in the rule book and on the board, it looks like the wildflowers or herbs. I don't remember which one it is, but it looks like that resource.
Yeah.
And so there's a disconnect between that as well. It's not iconography. I guess it kind of is the actual one on there, but just give me a flower piece then, or something, you know? It just seemed like that was kind of a hang-up and just immediately takes you out of the theme of the game. So
what would you give it?
I'm going to come down at a 5. There's a lot of really interesting things happening here that I can speak positively to, but at the end of the day, it is just brought so far down by just the burdensome nature of the game, because that iconography that's getting in its way a little bit, and it doesn't barely overstay its welcome. It's about halfway through the game, I'm ready to be done. And not angry, but like, oh, cool, I'm good. Okay, so like one more turn? No? And so I think it just, unfortunately, my enjoyment of the game is probably higher than a 5, but it's brought down significantly because of overstaying its welcome, some of the iconography issues that you talked about, and then it just feeling the reset that you never build into the difficulty of the game. Yeah. So you feeling that, not quite defeat, but like you don't look, I'm not excited about finishing a scoring goal or grabbing some scoring because I know I'm starting back over. It's kind of like when you go from elementary school to middle school. Like you're in 5th grade, you're the big kid on campus. Then you go to 6th grade and you're like, oh, I'm nothing. And then you get to 8th grade, you're the big kid. Then you got to go to 9th grade. Then you're in 12th, and it's just like, I've been through that, I'm done. That's what this game feels like. It's like graduating different schooling ages.
And it takes that long.
It does.
I'm about there with you. I was actually between a 5 and a 6, so I'm going to split the difference. It gets a 5.5 from me. Just because, again, I do waffle back and forth. When I sit down to start playing this game, it's at least a 7. Yeah. I enjoy this game when you first set it up, when you take your first few turns, and those first 20, 25 minutes, 30 minutes even. Yeah, that's fun. I like developing the board. I like being able to... I like the geometry in this game. I do. I like the cards that bend and break that geometry. There's one card that lets you move to an adjacent place from where you are, even if there isn't a road there. or the place that lets you jump to a bicycle place spot. It's fun stuff.
Really neat.
And then that score, as you're saying, I think burdensome is a great word for this game because it is, unfortunately, it burdens you with what it asks and tasks you to do over simply too long of a stretch. So yeah, 5.5 from me. A second edition with some streamlining, 5 Peaks Express, something might fix it for me, and then it would be a game that I could very much enjoy. As it is right now, I think I would probably actively avoid it, certainly with more players, and maybe with 2, if you really, really want to play it. I guess I'll sit down and play it with you, but with 4, with 5, no. I got better games I can play for 2 hours.
Yeah, I agree.
So there you go. That is 5 Peaks, everybody. 5.5. And that's going to do it for this one. Thank you very much for tuning in and checking this game out with us. My name is Zee Garcia.
And I'm Camilla.
Enjoy your hiking. Take care.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you like this review or whatever you just watched, wasn't it amazing? Check out our channel, Dice Tower. We have all kinds of things. We review games, we do top 10s, we play games live. It's all about board games, but especially the people who play them. Check out Dice Tower YouTube channel.